Human horsepower, NOS energy drink, high performance energy.
When I'm on a job, I always drive my lucky car. It never lets me down. That's because I use gum out every 3,000 miles to help boost engine performance.
Let's go!
Which can come in pretty handy in my line of work. Help boost your car's performance in just seconds with gum out.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro 1 driver for Permatex, and this is the Right Stuff 90-minute gasket maker. Everyone knows Permatex is the leader in gasket makers. We've all used it and we all love it. Check this out. The Right Stuff 90-minute, it's right from a tube. It's the same stuff the pros use. Squeeze, apply, and fire your engine in 90 minutes.
The Formula Drift Championship is as close as it's ever been. 5 drivers are within 30 points and 10 drivers are within 100 points of the championship lead. In Seattle, Peter Vincek made his move, winning the event with some of the best drifting that we've seen all year. Frederick Osbo holds a very small 2-point lead over Odi Bakchis, but both James Dean and Chris Forsberg had solid results in Seattle that put them within shooting distance of the series lead. Now as we head to round 6 at St. Louis, a brand new track layout is poised to bring a whole new dimension to the championship. Who will come out on top? Let's find out, only on the Formula Drift Black Magic Championship.
Here we are at the gateway of the West, not too far from the famous St. Louis Arch. This is Pet Boys Crossroads, presented by Rain-X. Now deemed the Worldwide Technology Raceway, this is round 6 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. And boy, do we have an amazing season already forged here. And again, with this round being the 6th, we have 2 rounds left, Texas and then Irwindale Speedway. I'm Jared Deanna. Join me once again is Ryan Sage. Ryan, coming into this track, a new venue from 3 years ago, and now a brand new track layout. How do you think that is going to basically, kind of change things for the drivers?
Well, I think there's quite a few storylines to be spoken about this weekend. Yeah. Not only do we have the new track layout, we have a very interesting situation in the championship. Peter Vincek went on the attack in Seattle, got his first win of the year, put himself right into the championship chase, and we'll talk more about that later. But coming into this event, because none of the drivers have real data here, this is going to be the first time that every driver will be on this track and not really know what to expect. Right. It's a tighter track. It's a more technical track as opposed to last year, high speed and longer. So we can expect very, very close tandem, very smoky tandem, and a really great show for the fans.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, it's really tight. Last year, it was the fastest. Everybody really loved it. I think we're going to love this when it gets to head-to-head tomorrow. Today is all about qualifying as well as round 3 of the Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship. And we see Adam LZ get the #1 spot. But right now we're talking about pro qualifying. How many drivers do we have coming in? But you know what? Let's go back to our previous event. Like you said, Peter Vincek on the attack. It was Wardhouse 1 and 2. Just a really exciting Seattle event.
Yeah, and I mean, as we take a look, at the top drivers right now in the championship chase, it'll really give you an idea of where things are at in the championship. Drivers 1st through 5th place, okay, are within 30 points. Number 1 and number 2, super close. And then within the top 10 drivers, you basically have an event that can put somebody into the top 5 because the top 10 drivers are 100 points. This is the closest championship chase that we've had at any point in the 16 years stage in the season. Unbelievable with how many drivers are in championship contention.
Yeah, you can see Frederick Osbo leading the pack. We started the season off with Odi Bakchis so dominant. Frederick Osbo comes in, but again, the Wardhouse guys, can James Dean three-peat? That's kind of, you can see he's within striking distance. Again, with notably, let's call it what it is, 3 rounds left because we haven't begun qualifying just yet. We are about to, but then head-to-head is where it really unfolds. But yeah, it's very impressive. So you can see our 1 through 5 there. But before we bring on our judge, I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to a Black Magic clip tip with Chris Forsberg. Can he do it again? Can he go 4-peat? We'll find out. But again, a Black Magic clip tip with Chris Forsberg.
Formula Drift round 6 at St. Louis, a brand new track layout for today's Black Magic clip tip. And so for this track, we're actually looking at outer zone 2. So you'll see this guy come around as he flicks in, he's hitting it, clipping point number 1, rounding out to this really difficult outside zone 2. See how he kind of wiggled there, trying to fill it in? It's very difficult. It's coming from a very tight corner, pushing out wide to fill that whole zone. So the biggest thing you're going to see all weekend are people trying to gather their car up at inner clip 1, get back on the throttle, and have a nice smooth arc all the way through outside zone 2 without getting that wiggle to gain speed while filling the zone. It's going to be difficult. There might be some collisions. There's going to be people going off track. But the person that can do it the fastest and the smoothest is going to win.
All right, and we're back here with Judge Ryan Lantain. Now, Ryan, brand new track, very tight championship chase, a big burden on you guys to put together the best possible track from the judges' perspective, not only for the fans but also for the drivers. Before we get to the details of that, tell us what we're going to see today in qualifying with the event format.
As you say, today is qualifying, so each driver will get to do 2 non-consecutive runs. These drivers will receive a score for each run. They're going to keep the higher of the 2 scores. 32 drivers are going to move on to head-to-head competition for tomorrow, and any ties that we get will be broken according to the lower qualifying score.
All right, let's jump right into the track map, give everybody a look at home as how you guys have broken this down with the sectors and the points allocation. And then maybe give us just a bit of an understanding of the thought process behind the different outside zones, the touch and goes, and things of that nature.
Yeah, we're trying to make as many outside zones as we can while keeping the track safe. So you can see here, outside zone 1 is right on the edge of the pavement. We go up to touch and go 1. There is a rumble strip there. We're telling the drivers to stay off of that rumble strip. So get your tire on the pavement near the edge of the track, but don't go up on the rumble strip. Bring it into inside clip 1, which is just off of that wall that's on the corner of where that dot is essentially. It's about 5 feet inside the track. From there, the drivers will stay wide out to outside zone 2, and then they get the car transition. This is a tricky spot here because visually it's kind of blind for the drivers as they're coming around. There's a curve there that they have to reach. So when they come by outside zone 2, they want to keep their momentum going until they rotate the car. Once the car gets rotated for the touch and go, they want to get the back of the car right up on the wall. They don't have to fill that zone. They just have to get up to the wall and then leave it. Get to inside clip 2, and the finish line essentially is right at that inside clip.
And for fans watching at home, it's probably important to note that there are 6 sectors there. 5 points for each line and angle. That makes up 60 points. Then the rest goes to style. So let's talk about style. How are the 40 points broken down?
The 40 points are broken down 20 and 20, fluidity and commitment. So the fluidity side of things, we're looking for the car to be rotated to angle quickly, smoothly, and accurately. So when I say accurate, I mean their car is not going to go to too much angle and have to be brought back, or it's not going to be rotated to too little and then the driver has to add some. So they need to be very precise as they're rotating the car. That's at initiation and any transitions that we have on the course as well. And then looking at the other side, the commitment side, you want to be on throttle as soon as possible in outside zone 1. You want to be on throttle from start line all the way to initiation. No lifts there.
Right.
You want to use your momentum through outside zone 1 to get the car to push out and get yourself to touch and go number 1. And you want to rotate the car before you slow down. So if the drivers are slowing down earlier and then accelerating up, that shows a lack of commitment, and the score is going to get affected by that. Same thing goes for outside zone 2. You want to stay on throttle through that zone, then rotate the car for touch and go. And if you're doing it earlier and making a mistake there, of course, that's going to be a deduction on the commitment side of things. So those 40 points are pretty vital, and you need to prove that you're able to do that to get yourself into the right position for competition tomorrow.
Well, we got to see a couple of standout runs last night in Pro 2, and I'm sure that'll carry over today for the Pro Series as we get into qualifying. But before we head into competition, let's talk about the incompletes.
Incompletes in qualifying are fairly simple. You see them on the screen: spinning out, opposite drift, anything latchable opening on the vehicle, hood, hatch, trunk doors. You know, 4 wheels off the track would be an incomplete, and a major straight as well. So if you drive straight for a significant amount of time, that would be an incomplete.
All right, Ryan, we'll be checking in with you during qualifying to get additional insight to how things are being broken down. We appreciate it. This is the Pep Boys Crossroads presented by Rain-X, and this is round 6, can you believe it, of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Up next, qualifying.
After 5 rounds of competition, the Formula Drift Championship is as close as it's ever been.
All right, as you can see just off in the distance, the St. Louis Arch, the gateway to the west. We are just across the ISSIPPI River, the Mississippi River, as we are now here in Madison, Illinois at the Worldwide Technologies Raceway, and we are getting prepared to go into qualifying. Ryan, really excited about this track. What are your expectations seeing practice, seeing Pro 2 qualifying? What do you expect here for Pro qualifying? Then inevitably going into head-to-head tomorrow and this evening for Pro 2.
Yeah, and I mean, no question that we're going to have, I think, some really high qualifying scores after the adjustments and the practice that was taken yesterday and parts of this morning. I think the drivers really have this dialed in now, and it's a matter of trying to find that little edge from each of the drivers to get those high qualifying spots. What I think really stood out to me and to a lot of the judges, some of the conversations I had, is just how closely we are anticipating that the battles are going to be. Tighter course, a little bit more technical. There's some decel areas for sure, but there are really a lot of opportunities for both the chase and the lead driver to stand out on this course. Much different than the course that we had last year. That was faster, longer. It was as dynamic, but in a different kind of sense.
Right.
And I think this will really showcase in an amazing way to the fans, especially because we have the grandstands here, we got the tower, and for the first driver up, João Barrion, we have not seen him for a while.
Yeah.
He's back here and try to pay some dues here in the Pro Series.
All right, from Brazil, it is João Barrion here in his Monster Energy Achilles tire. The Corvette, as you bring it around here, and really tight on that front clip. Now there's that outside zone. Fill in the box is Barrion into, that's a quick little touch and go. Now here's the final front clip, which also does double duty as it's the finish line. So if you're just joining us, you haven't seen the course, we have an outside clip. Go ahead and walk us through it, Ryan, here on this replay.
Yeah, you see this outside zone here. The judges want to see you fully fill that zone, stay on throttle. There's a little bit of drop off there, and then be transitioned before you get into that touch and go. Here's the inside clip, pushing out here to that second outside zone. You want to have angle there, and then really drive towards this wall. That's a touch and go there. The judges just want to see you get in a certain part of that touch and go area, and then full throttle across the finish line. Onto the apron below the big bank. You don't need to go up on the big bank, but as soon as you get past that last inside clip, the run is considered finished.
All right, so that Barbarius Achilles Radial Chevrolet Corvette, as the scores are coming in here. Beautiful day here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Nice little breeze blowing through, and there's our first score. Number 1 qualifier, 79, because he's the only qualifier. That joke never gets old in my mind. But the 79 there for Barrion, as Kyle the Menace Mohan, the American Ethanol Mazda Tricks Mazda RX-8 Top 1 oil. Kyle Mohan, a new father. Congratulations to him and his wife. As now, the lone rotary, the last starfighter, as you can call it. Banging away in his wankles. Throws it into that first outside zone. Good execution for him. Gets out to that touch and go. Again, that is a touch and go. Now the front clip, you really need to dial it in. He does just that really good on that front right headlight, easy for me to say. Now transitioning touch and go, hit it and quit it, and bring it in on home. There's Kyle Mohan. Really good execution.
A really good operation last night.
high from Mohan.
Well, you can see he got that early snap, and he's right at the edge of the course there, kept good throttle control, and you can see just on that transition, that's where we see a little bit of a decel, but it's a natural transition. It should be very, very minor. Gets into this outside zone, trying to aim up towards the wall, snaps it right there, pretty much fills the whole thing, looks pretty solid here through that final inside clip. And I think he'll be picking up a pretty solid score there. We can see the drivers are definitely checking the boxes. In practice yesterday, I would say the first 20 to 30, maybe even 45 minutes of practice was really a feeling out period. You could see we saw a lot of drivers go off into the grass, mistiming that outside zone, trying to make some adjustments. But then after, I would say that 45-minute period, handful of drivers just really looking solid overall, especially the tough, challenging part of getting that outside zone to the touch and go, timed properly. So,
all right, waiting for the score, and there it is, 76. So, just in that same vicinity, 76 there for Austin Meeks. And you can see the different categories: line, angle, style. So, next up, Kevin Lawrence, the RB powered S14.3, S14 240SX chassis with the 13 headlights. Comes in that first outer zone, flicks it into the touch and go, stays on throttle. Good fluid move from him. Again, a little shimmy there into the second outer zone, touch and go. Doesn't get all the way out there. Oh, you can see throwing him off of the line. Looks like lifted and then hammered on into that final front clip, Ryan. Let's break it down here on a second glance.
Well, taking a look at this initiation, you can see it gets right up there on the edge of the course. Starts to come off at the right time. You can see that little bit of drop in speed there, trying to get himself set up properly. Line-wise, looks pretty dynamic here, driving right to the edge of the course, really pointing it towards the wall, and a bit more of an aggressive flick. You can see got off the brakes there a little bit, or got off the throttle, and then back on through that finish line there. So maybe a little bit of drop in fluidity after that touch and go, but overall I think a solid performance there, and definitely something to build on for run 2.
All right, you can see the hot pits here in the center of the course. See Chelsea DENOFA, Vaughn Gittin Jr., see Matt Field, Pat Gooden, DIRK STRATTON in the mix, Travis Reeder, the Napoleon Motorsports vehicle, and a 70. So Kevin Lawrence with a 70, so leaving quite a few points out there. Line, angle, style, so a 7-0 for Kevin Lawrence. Next up on the line, Federico Sceriffo from Italy. Driving a vehicle he's deemed Fiorella, and there it is. The V12 powered, of course, the Ferrari. Notably, probably the most expensive vehicle off the showroom floor. Oh, get into the dirt, throwing up some dirt. Little brown cloud into that touch and go, now into the front clip. Whips it through that triple F. Drifting department vehicle, touch and go. Necks and tires go ablaze. So you can see as they exit, they're going up on the bank, Ryan.
Well, you can see right here, just the most noticeable thing was just dropping those tires into the dirt area there. It didn't really slow his momentum down too much. He was able to make it out of there without going off course, which is probably the most important part. So he'll receive a deduction there. The rest of the run, pretty solid here. Gets that touch and go on the first half of it, stays on throttle through the finish line, up on the apron, and then on the big bank. So Fede will be able to clean up that initiation to outside zone 1 on run number 2 as we wait his scores to come in here for run number 1.
You can see the burnout box there just as Dan Burkett, that Rad Industries Toyota Supra, also on necks and tires, like Fetty. Federico Sceriffo, his nickname. Everybody just calls him Fetty. Fetty Wap with an 82. Look at that, an 82 for Federico Sceriffo. Radical Dan coming up to the start line. There it is. Great looking Toyota Supra. Gentleman has a ton of Supras always in his shop, Southern California. Here we go, Rad Industries, gear wrench, necks and tires, Toyota Supra. Whips into that outside zone. You can see just a little bit of wavering there. Now approaching that touch and go, gets out of it cleanly. Look at the front wheels, minimal corrections from Burkett. Snaps into that touch and go, doesn't get all the way out there, and a little late as Dan Burkett Again, right now 33 drivers came in. Sebastian Gauthier has not made a run though.
There's that little adjustment in the front wheels you talked about with Burkett. He gets up a little bit on the rumble strips as well here. Now he's looking pretty good. He's really tight. He's on the inside marker of inside clip 1. Fills that outside zone really well. Snaps it back around, but if he maybe was a little bit more committed to the wall, he could have been deeper into that touch and go, maybe a little bit more dynamic there. But he's got run 1 in the books, and just looking for a qualifying number here with the number of drivers. Looks like we're going to have a full field, and we'll see how things play out here for these drivers.
Again, just Gauthier, from what I understand, over in the pits, as Burkett comes in with an 84. An 84 for Dan Burkett.
Yeah, so with Honadell and Mitch Larner and Manuel Vaca not here, looks like one driver is going to be knocked out.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay.
So came in with 33. Right now, Sebastian Gauthier. All right, 84 there for Dan Burkett. Takes the top of that Permatex Pro qualifying leaderboard. Another Cadillac in the mix, Taylor Hull. And sophomore season for that vehicle, not for Taylor. Comp Cam's Achilles tire Cadillac. Looks like he's really dialing in that Cadillac. Ooh, then the announcer's curse goes into effect, gets into the dirt. A little late on that touch and go, wide swing. Can he tighten it back up? You can see him kind of beelining for that final front clip there for Hull. Full pull Hull. But where does he land score-wise, Ryan?
Well, Taylor Hull is CompCam's Privateer Profile Episode 3 launching this weekend, and you can see he's getting a good jump on the course here. Heading out to that outside zone, just drops a tire a little bit there, getting into the dirt. Really apparent to see that. And as you mentioned, Jared, got into that touch and go a little bit late. Tries to bring an late apex around to that inside clip, but I think the judges will swipe off a couple points out there in line. But nonetheless, a good overall run for him. Slot himself into the field and see where that number comes in here as he finishes up his first run of competition.
In that burnout box, waiting for Dirk Stratton, warming up his Achilles tires. Oh, actually no, 32 drivers, Ryan. So Alex Hilbrun, him not being here, so everybody will get in if you have a run, or we might have a bye if Sebastian Gauthier does not run. So can you dig it? Bill digs it. Here we go, 65, a 65 there for Taylor Hull. Weekend digs it. And there's Dirk Stratton, that Stratton Chevrolet, Lingenfelter, Achilles tire, Fortune Auto Corvette from Ohio. Right into that outside zone. I know the Stratton family and his team having some issues with the lower belt in the previous rounds of ooh, you can see that going for that second outer zone, makes that correction, whips it into that touch and go. Nice little style there. But Ryan, the Stratton family, and again, Dirk and his team just having issues with that lower belt, so they just throw it off. It was just out of line, and so I'm glad to see him get a rundown.
Yeah, it was a serpentine belt last event, right?
Yeah.
Well, it looks pretty strong so far this run, and especially towards the finish here, a very dynamic transition into the outside touch and go just right at the edge of that second outside zone. And you can see he flicks it right there, catches it, keeps angling the car full throttle all the way through the finish line. And taking a look on board the drone here, you get an idea of how these drivers are attacking that second outside zone. They don't want to get too far in there, but they want to try to get as deep as they can to maximize those points. The range of those boxes on that outside zone is about 3 feet off of the edge of the course. The judges do expect you, or they allow you to get all the way to the edge of the course with the tires. So this is not a walled course,
right,
and we're not talking about the bumpers there. However, the bumper can obviously scrape the wall on that final touch and go.
Yep. And we saw that yesterday with Pro 2, kind of getting parallel to the wall and just flick it in and fill that zone. I believe it was Derek Madison who scraped it, or Garrett Denton maybe. And
up against the wall, they definitely will allow for the bumper scrape, and they like to see that. They just don't want to see you crumple the bumper 6-12 inches in to get back to the wheel.
The judges have clarified they don't want you to basically save your car by smashing into the wall. Here we go, Jeff Jones and the Doc Nexen Tires Energy Innovations 370Z. Again, you can see those front tires really locked in, zeroed in, minimal corrections, whips it into the touch and go. Just gets about that front half of that quick touch and go. Again, all you have to do on that final wall ride is just get out there, show that you have the car control, and then get onto a wide swing approaching that final front flip.
Yeah, a little bit of wavering there from Jeff, and unfortunately he misses this touch and go. He's on the inside of that touch and go, just in front of the yellow painted line, so leaving some points off there. As you said, he opts to get in early into the touch and go, stays tight right here through the side of it there. Doesn't get all the way out. What the judges want to see is you get right to the edge of the course before the rumble strip. Don't go up on the rumble strip and have go north, but you can get right to the edge of it, and there you go with Jeff Jones on his run number 1. I think he's going to want to throw that one away and try again for a better score on run number 2.
67, a 67 there for Jeff Jones. Now coming in ranked 22nd, Jonathan Castro, Judo Metaldon. Next in tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota 86. From DR, aka Dominican Republic. Let's see what Castro gonna go fast. Here we go into that first outer zone. Fills all of that touch and go, just keeps it out there. Oh, does nudge over that Black Magic Intense front clip. Yeah, snaps it in, but you can see with that, throws him off course. So, might look fancy, but, man, kind of spilled. So, unfortunately, Castro, man, it looked like he was going to set himself up, but no, it goes in on very shallow.
Well, really aggressive approach there. You can see he's full throttle into initiation, stayed on it, got really deep. Transitioned a little bit late into that touch and go. Draws a nice arc there through the inside clip. Now watch him as he leaves this outside zone. He's flying super close to the wall. Big angle here. And had it floated out a little bit more, he might have been able to save that, but he ends up being on the inside of that final clip, which is also the inside of the finish line. So here you get a good vantage point. Let's watch the front bumper. You can see he actually hits it with the right side of the vehicle, so he's on the wrong side of that inside clip, and that's the first time that we've seen that so far in qualifying, and we'll have to see how the judges take that into account.
It comes down to, in the judge's mind, is it a chaseable run? And it is not. Unfortunately for Castro, he gets an incomplete run, and that's where it gets what is a driver to do if he finds himself on the wrong side of that front clip. So unfortunately for Castro, now he needs to get that second run in order to advance on a top 16, or excuse me, top 32. Kazuya Taguchi, Achilles radial, up garage, S15. I gotta tell you, this Kazuya seems like a different driver behind the wheel of this S15, campaigning a GTR in previous years, still with that VR engine, which is the GTR Nissan engine, as Taguchi waits on start. All right, getting the got as Castro brought some of that. Here we go, Kazuya Taguchi. Kazuya Taguchi almost gets in the attitude of the vehicle, kind of popping up now into, but continues on. Throw some more angle to the second portion of that outside touch and go. Does a up there and brings it on. Kazuya Taguchi, the up tire S15.
Dynamic in practice, you can see right there a very aggressive initiation. Stayed at the edge into that touch and go, right angle with the back. as he gets just right on the edge there. I mean, really threading the needle, Jared, wrapping around into this. And watch, he puts a little bit more angle in the car and points it towards the wall here. Nice position towards the wall. He's really settling into that S15 and really starting to see driving come out.
And Taguchi with an 8-4 for Taguchi. Next, Ryan Litteral. Ryan Litteral to as don't know what's going on here. Doesn't look like he was at all. But his helmet on, getting the on. All right, just get an update here from they had the trans car of Ryan Little. Basically, all the competition timeout. They said no, everything's up to snuff. The late 3 pistons. One set after, but so you pistons cast your vote and downloaded our red App Store. Our style. Wheel.
Shot here, run. Around, hits that.
Shot. Boss. And out the 78, a 78 as Ryan. World War Kaufman, Matt Kaufman, 13, quickly leaves the send it, homeboy. Kaufman, whoa, big Ford power plant, 13, strip, now brings it into the front and out. See how he handles it. Execution from Kaufman. The Thunderbolt Racing fuel running through the veins. All right, got in that rumble strip a little early. You know, don't want to see the attitude of the car change too much, and we'll see how that affects. Take a look on the drone. Flying high there. And whips into that final front clip, as well as known as the finish line. Matt coming to this round of competition, 19th. Hashtag DSTL with a 74, Matt Kaufman, a 74 for Kaufman. Again, hashtag FD, as well as share the links. Tell them they can watch this online. Dan with the highest score so far, 84 right now. The Rayneck boys, Achilles tire, Huddy, BMW. Throws into the outside zone. Really dances with the dirt right there. No cloud being thrown up. Fills all clean fluid line into the front clip. Now out to that second outer zone, you saw got to that outside zone and then just threw some more angle at it. We've seen that approach from a few other drivers. Would like to really just kind of throw it in there and minimal corrections, you know, not that rate to angle, Ryan.
Yeah, and you can see with that nice whip right there into that first outside zone, he's looking smooth, solid here. Good angle, he keeps it locked into that inside clip. Really great seeing how well he has improved this year after some troubles with the vehicle and a couple different issues, and still keeping his head on straight and really performing well here, and that's a good first qualifying.
Yeah, it looks like he's really in his stride. I think Dylan, and talking to Huddy Racing, he says he's using all of the car now, just getting everything worked out. And I know prior to myself arriving yesterday, seeing oh, look at that, boom, with a 90, a 9-0 for Dylan Hughes, and it being reflected, but you know, that he was on the start line there on just yesterday and saying that car didn't sound right, train this and that, and yeah, they had some issues, but now looks like he's worked it out. Well, coincidentally, these guys, two good friends, Dylan Hughes and Travis Reeder from the Pacific Northwest. Travis Reeder here in the Napoleon Motorsports Nitto tires S13, Old Red as he calls it, into the touch and go, into that the front clip. Fills all of that outside zone. Touch and go, almost drags that wing across that wall and dials it in about that.
Yeah, for Travis Reeder, really made waves this year with the first electric drift vehicle and paying some dues right now. It is Old Red, as you say. Nice fluid motion there through that outside touch and go into the inside clip. Draws a steady line here right up on the edge of the course and then points it right towards the wall, snaps it up against the wall. A little bit of an adjustment there, but still is able to get back to right at that first inside hash mark on that final inside clip.
And there it is with an 85. 85. All right. As next up, adding some international flair, Dean Kearney. Dean Carnage Kearney, Oracle Lighting, Achilles tire, Dodge Viper. Got a new exhaust on that hot rod there I saw on social media. And here comes Dean Kearney, aka Carnage. Nice little setup there. Manhandles it into the outside zone, touch and go. Front clip, no problem there for Carnage. Man, just an absolute bevy of smoke coming off the back of that thing. Lifts and approaches that final front clip. Well done there from Carnage. Does that better Dylan Hughes 90.
Well, it really is amazing what he can do with that big vehicle. I've seen him throw some really snappy initiations in that car and really throw it around like an S13. Here he is really dialing in the line and the track extremely well. Notice as he keeps nice consistent angle through that second outside zone. Great job on the touch and go there. And then beelines it with good angle to that final inside clip. Coming through here to this inside clip. Watch the line that he takes here. He keeps that consistent angle without putting more into it that we see some of the other drivers doing. And the fluidity there and the commitment to do that really on point from Dean. So great first run from him, and will be awarded.
All right, 90, he actually matches Dylan Hughes' score. Looking cool as ice there. Dean Carnage next up. Expecting this gentleman to kind of throw down pretty aggressively. Pat Gooden, a fun driver to watch this year, saying he's driving the best car he's ever driven. He loves it, feeling the vibe, doing it for Donna here. His mom cheering him on from home in Florida. The Achilles tire. S14.5, kicking out some smoke. Nice job there from Gooden. See how he handles touch and go. Gets out there. And takes out that front clip. You can hear him banging away on that supercharged V8. This vehicle operated by Drift Cave, which is Matt Field's shop.
Nice fluid initiation there, all the way out to the edge of the course, holds it all the way through, snaps it right into that outside touch and go, makes it look really nice there. The commitment was strong into this outside zone, right at the edge of the course there. I think this is going to be up there. This is going to contend.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be in the 90s, at least from what I've seen, comparably speaking. Look at how he just runs right at the edge of the course. Great job there.
On the second outer. Yeah. Yeah, inside clip, if you hit that, Ryan Lontaine is elaborating there. If you hit those inside clips, that's 2 points. So he hit both of them. That's 4 points immediately deducted. So an 83. So imagine, you know, do the math there.
Four more would have been 87.
Hey, look, we just did math. 83 plus 4 equals 87, but 87 is not 90, and that I'm just kidding. So regardless, still a good score, an 83 there for Pat Gooden, but keep it off the cones. Could have been higher. The Goosh, saw him last night enjoying some Mexican food. See if he's feeling spicy today here in that Gretty Performance Toyota race. Toyota 86, feeling spicy and getting dirty. All right, so spicy and dirty, that's his new nickname there for the Goosh, as around that front clip. Like to see more angle. You see those front wheels kind of getting in line with the fenders. All right, so as we look at this again, Ken Gushi, a Formula Drift veteran. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, no clip hits there for them, but a bit of a tire drop there on that first outside zone. Gets right into that outside touch and go. He's tight on that inside clip without hitting it. You mentioned wanting a little bit more angle here. I think the line was still really strong. A little bit of an adjustment, drives right towards the wall, gets up there right on the banners on that hard concrete K-rail, and then finishes up strong there with a swooping turn into that last inside clip.
All right. Man, those guys need a bigger umbrella. What's up, bros? Yeah. Homeboy with the headband. There you go. Yeah, what's up, Craig? How we doing, man? Those guys need a larger umbrella. No? You good? Look at that thing. Stole from Grandma's house. Grandma called. She wants her umbrella back. 86. That's an 86 for Ken Gushi. Coincidentally, driving the Toyota 86 for the Goosh. All right, next up, Matt Field, the Beast from the Bay, sitting 13th in the point standings coming into this round of competition. He's hungry. He wants it. Here we go. Falcon tires, Borla exhaust. Oh, what's going on here? He's moonwalking. He's doing the moonwalk. Looks like maybe putting a little more heat into the tires. The rotiform wheels on the corners. See if you can feel the heat wave. It's definitely hot out here. Throwing on those heat wave shades. Dropping the lid. And then another driver goes into the dirt early on, takes out that first clip. Nice wide swing on that front clip. Massive angle there from Field. Oh, whips it into that touch and go. Nice job in the transition for Field.
Well, here we go. Matt Field podiumed here last year. And
right.
Here we go. Just into that outside touch and go. I wish he would have got in there a little bit earlier so his back bumper was on the touch and go. Fills that zone. Big angle there. Drives right towards the wall. Makes an adjustment. And there you go. Snaps it back around right up against the wall. Finishes strong. Here it is right here. Let's see how far. He just touches that the first cone of that outside zone. And watch the transition. See, he gets into it a little tiny bit late. I wish he would have got into it a little bit early.
And he knocked over that front clip.
Yeah, so he'll drop 2 points there. But still a very strong, aggressive run, and really something to build off there for run number 2.
All right, so as there's Matt Field in 81. I really like the second half of once he knocked over that front clip. I liked what he put out there. Expect a very high impact run here from Chelsea DENOFA. Well, again, watching social media before I arrived, says he loves the track, feeling it, likes it. This could fare well for, look at that, the BC Racing Ditto tires, Ford Mustang RTR. Now swooping into that front clip, wraps it around into that second outer zone, throws up some dirt, fills all of that touch and go. See that back wheel stop real quick, yanking on the brake to cause the car to slide out towards the back end of the vehicle so it could wrap it around that final front clip, Ryan.
Well, a really dynamic run. You can see a big initiation there. Look at the back wheels continuing to be on throttle, throws it right into that touch and go. Back on throttle quickly again. No cone hit there, keeps really high angle through this outside zone, just gets a little bit off course there, but making it look really dangerous, driving it directly towards that wall, then throws the car, puts the back bumper right up against the wall. Taking a look from on board here, this is coming into the touch and go, snaps it, fills it completely, and then hits that inside clip without knocking it over. You can actually see it looked like it wobbled a little bit, and then bringing it back around here where he finishes very strong there. I think this one I'm confident will contend.
Yeah, no, it looked good for Chelsea DENOFA. And a 93, it takes that #1 spot, a 93 for DENOFA. So as you can see, getting into the dirt, you know, not a major issue. You can see 1 point left in angle, left kind of out there on the track. But right now, Chelsea DENOFA, our #1 qualifier. But quite a few more tires to burn, including these Achilles tires of the ESSA Autosports BMW. Here comes Michael ESSA. Gets into that outside zone, no problem. Transition into the touch and go. Really well done so far here from ESSA. Keeping it off the dirt and just really, oh man, look at that, out to the touch and go. Tighter line there than we've seen from some of the other drivers. We'll see how that fares overall for, in the judges' eyes, I should say.
Well, here's the initiation, nice and smooth. What we've come to see from Michael ESSA was about in the middle of that outside zone. Big angle there, maybe got a little bit late into that first outside touch and go. Oh, just nicked that first inside clip. Puts more angle in the car, drives right towards the wall, snaps it back around very close to that big piece of concrete that separates both sides of the course. I think this is a good run here for Michael ESSA. Just that one cone hit. And a couple little areas where you can have some improvement, but you start to see some of the drivers that are very comfortable on this course, even with the maximum of 12 practice laps that they get prior to qualifying. And Michael ESSA waiting for his score to drop here to find out what it's going to be on run #1.
And there it is, a 79 there for Michael ESSA. Now we are into current rankings of top 10. Was down in the pits when practice was going down, and seeing Forrest Wang kind of catch his breath, just really not out here during practice and just kind of saving the car, but he's about to get nuts here in this Achilles tire. Yellow speed vehicle, out to the touch and go. Known for great fluidity, this course could lend well to his style, really pairing up, and now comes into that touch and go, fills all of it. And that is not necessary. That final wall ride is a touch and go, so hit it and quit it. Let's look at it again, Ryan.
Yeah, this definitely, I think, could be a track that really suits Forrest well. Big angle, very smoky, smooth, fluid transitions. Does a good job there getting back on throttle through that inside clip, stays away from it, doesn't knock it down, very deep into this outside zone, puts more angle into it as he drives towards the wall, and then puts that back bumper right there through the finish line, keeping the throttle down. There's that angle from Forrest Wang, beautifully executed through that touch and go. And you can see that yellow line on the inside has got a bit more color on there, showing that drivers have not all drivers have been getting super close to it. Forrest does, and he's able to max out his first run pretty well and lock in a good score.
88 and 88 there for Forrest Wang in the car number 808. So Wang puts down an 88 on his first run. JTP, Justin PAWLAK, currently sitting 9th in the standings. Lead Fountain Tires, Roush Performance, Ford Mustang. PAWLAK, see him getting deeper and deeper into the outside zone, the touch and go. A wider swing here, but the line set him up perfectly around that front clip. Again, progressively throwing more angle at it in there. Oh, and gets into the wall. Flipping carbon fiber. Takes a bit of a hit there, but whips it in there. Little body damage, but nothing unfamiliar.
Well, it's worth a reminder. I know you've mentioned it before, Jared, but JTP is the only Mr. Perfect of the year, and for quite a few years in New Jersey on his I believe first run of qualifying. Yeah, it was coming in with that 100-point run, and really the point of difference there are some of the things that you see here. Really taking big risks that look like he might crash, that look like he might spin out, but holding it and pulling it off. And for this run here, as you see, as he leaves that touch and go, he's really tight on that inside clip, keeps the throttle down, makes minimal adjustments as he eyes up that final touch and go, and then hits this inside clip, kind of on a late apex there. Here's that transition right to the wall. Watch the back trunk, boom, it just pushes up, goes back down. So definitely making contact with the wall there, but a good aggressive run to start off his first campaign is Justin PAWLAK.
86, that's an 86 for JTP. Come on, Mr. Perfect. I think you're all Mr. Perfect and stuff. I'm joking. But again, look at that style, 30. Like that, that's good. Say claims. All right, here we go. Dai Yoshihara, turn 14, distribution, Falcon Tires, Subaru BRZ. Whoa, buddy, comes in way into the dirt. Overcooks it, Daijiro Yoshihara. Got way too aggressive on that first outer zone. Does it really nicely on the second and then brings it into the touch and go. Ryan, Daijiro, that's kind of uncharacteristic for him, and fortunately it's not a wall, it is dirt, but he center punched that clipping the cone with his door. Watch.
Well, we've seen a couple tire drops. Now you get a pretty big one there. It's going to be 2 and about half the car, so a good chunk off there, but not 3 tires. So first time we've seen somebody going that far and still kind of stay on course. The rest of this run is pretty dynamic, though. You can see he feels that outside touch and go, stays on throttle. He's got good angle there, so he really just wants to get that initiation and outside zone 1 back. Here it is from the drone looking above. You'll get a little bit of a grasp of where he started going off course. It was about halfway through that first outside zone. So unfortunately, I think he's going to have a lower score, but he can certainly improve just pretty dramatically by getting that first outside zone a bit more dialed.
Awaiting the score, and there it is, 79. A 79 for Dai Yoshihara. Top 7 now. Next up, Vaughn Gittin Jr., former champ, Monster Energy, Nitto Tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Ready to rock. Vaughn Gittin Jr., another new father here in the FD family. As here comes Vaughn Gittin Jr. Throws it in, that chrome nose. Pointed towards that front clip. Shine bright like a diamond, there we go. As into the second outer zone and into the touch and go. Vaughn looking pretty good there.
Yeah, you know, Vaughn has had a couple ups and downs with qualifying this year. This is a great start, though. Pretty much fills that entire zone with good angle, fluid transition there into that outside touch and go. Stays away from the inside clip, but still tight to that hash mark. Big throttle control here. Gets into the front side and stays really close to the wall there. So good overall run from Vaughn Gittin Jr. And I think Vaughn just wants to try and avoid 10 one more times this round. So he always seems to line up with the guys early on in competition that just really give a great battle for all of us, but he's had a lot of one more times this year.
86 and 86 there for Vaughn Gittin Jr. Maybe throw it to the fans. You know, Ryan, I've just been and we've talked about it, you know, we call them one more times, but when you do 3 one more times, is it really one more time? It's 3 more times, but you can't say that. So maybe throw it out to the fans. If you were to change something, kind of like how we've changed, you know, when somebody gets a 0 to an incomplete run, what would you change the concept or the term from one more time to what would it be?
That's tough. I know it's so.
I mean, we're talking wordplay here.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like
go again,
battle again. You know, here we go. All right, Ryan Turk in this gum out Toyota Racing Toyota 86 on Nitto tires. Again, Ryan Turk, just kind of a, I don't want to call it a Cinderella story, but just a story of coming back after a difficult round 1, exploding that back bumper in that outside zone and into that touch and go. Gets up on the bank, but just a success story. Let's call it that. From round 1, totaling his car, rebuilding it, and then eventually getting that victory in New Jersey, which was very exciting. But right now, those 1552 wheels going around Nitto tires as, yeah, great execution there from Ryan Turk. But goes a little too deep in that second outer zone. Gets out to the touch and go. The RT, what's the 411? On the score here for Ryan Turk. And waiting for Ryan Turk's score. And a 94, look at that, jumps up there with a 94 for Ryan Turk. So, TR powered 370Z. Wow, fills all of that second outer zone, whips it into that touch and go. Minimal corrections on his wheels, those SSRs. You can see him just counter steering as the Nexen tires cool down here on the bank. Let's look at it again here.
Yeah, no, it's a great start for Chris. Gets a little bit long in that outside zone, but very dynamic and is finishing up here on this second outside zone. Just hits that cone. So he's very aggressive in this run, but he's still keeping it together here as he prepares, as you said, to throw out the first pitch tonight, which is really, really cool. Huge angle there. Great transition. Very snappy. Eyes up this inside clip. Notice he's right on that inside line there. So great job by him.
Yeah, you can see that smoke trail just kind of pointed the wheels over there and really locked it in. So another 94 there for Forsberg. So seems to be a reoccurring score here as Chris Forsberg sits 5th in the championship, the only 3-time FD champion. We've seen multiple champions from such as Frederick Osbo, Tanner Faust, Samuel Hubinette, those are the names, and of course James Dean. James Dean, another back-to-back champion as well. Wow, James Dean, the attitude of the vehicle, you can see popping up in that Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires S15. Wraps it cleanly around that front clip and just riding the line here of this 2J S15. Okay, so, and this is exactly what I kind of expected, you know, from our track last year, very fast, to this technical track. This reminds me of something I've seen in Europe or Ireland.
Yeah, and James is really a master of those kind of tracks. I mean, he's really a master anywhere, but he came out and did a run like this on the very first run of practice yesterday, both him and Pieter. So you can see very dialed in, right up against that wall. It's really hard to find a lot of errors in the driving here. He's very deep into that first outside zone. Watch the transition to the touch and go. Gets that back bumper transition basically right in the middle of that touch and go. Stays on the throttle through that inside clip. Eyes up this inside, or excuse me, the outside touch and go up against the wall and gets right up against the wall without really damaging the vehicle. Just very, very tight on that wall. So great job by him.
Let's see where James Dean lands. Currently a 94, the top score. Few of the drivers having it. And the results are in for James the Machine Dean, 97. 97. So right now, if it ended, he'd be our Black Magic #1 top qualifier award winner. But we have 3 drivers left and the entire field of drivers. And remember, right now, if it ended, Sebastian Gauthier does not have a run under his belt, so the #1 qualifier would get a bye run. Piotr Visick, the Candyman, comes in, doesn't get as deep as James. See a quick little correction there on the front wheels. This is, like I said, I mean, even just seeing 2 runs from Joao Berrion and Kyle Mohan right now. Piotr Visick just swoops right past. You see the quick little yank of the brake. Look at the yank of the brake. Look at the yank of the brake.
Well, he was definitely the man to beat last round. He was 1-1, so #1 qualifier, won the event. And he is on a tear right now, Jared. And as we mentioned, the top 5 is so close in points. I mean, 2 points away from Osbo to Bakchis, 22-3 points away from 3 through 5. So, I mean, we are going to see most likely going to see a lead change here this weekend. If Osbo stays on top, he may extend it, but it's not going to be that much. I think that's why this event is the most important of the year right now, because we're so close to Irwindale, and yet the championship chase is as close as it's ever been.
Oh, yeah. And I love that. I mean, you know, you don't want to see a runaway. Real quick, Piotr Visick with a 91 and puts him into 5th position. But, again, he's going to try to better that on his 2nd run. But, you know, it comes down to the Black Magic top qualifier, who's going to get the cash. But, you know, you like to see it up for grabs. And right now, you know, Odi Bakshis, he's kind of thinking about strategy, but also they're thinking about, you know, this battle, what's going on here in St. Louis, and they just have to execute, because they know Texas is quite a different track. It's under the lights, it's also hot, and then eventually Irwindale to crown a champion for the 16th time ever. Here we go, Odi Bakshi's Falcon tires, the supercharged V8 under the hood, field suspension, gets into the dirt, throws it down, transitions. You can see him. See how he executes here. 2nd outer zone. Fills all of it. And out to the touch. It looks like he does track back on the wall. So Odi Bakshis, well played on his first run.
Well, he was the informed driver for the first 2 rounds, undefeated coming into Road Atlanta, and now he's currently sitting 2nd in points, just 2 points out. He is looking for his first championship of his career, and certainly because of his ability to qualify much better and how well he has done in the areas like the chase position over his career has really given him and defined his season thus far. Right there, that transition into that outside touch and go, perfectly executed, right on that inside clip. Really smooth line here with great angle. And Odi has really turned on his qualifying game this year. He's become very much a complete driver, and he is hunting for that first championship.
Yeah, the Bakshis family, another addition to their family as well. As fans, Umbrella, Ella, A. Yeah, what's up, homeboy? Odi Bakshis with a 92, a 92. That was 2 Rihanna quotes in 1 qualifying session.
From you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Just giving shout out to Riri. You know,
Down.
I call her Riri.
Down for it.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's favorite song.
That's your favorite song?
No, what's your favorite song?
Right now, favorite song is Frederick Osbo. Frederick Osbo, the Rockstar Energy Drink. Toyota racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. He's on Nexon tires. You see the car kind of rocking and rolling there into that front clip. Motegi Racing wheels, his Blue Lips whips it. Comes along. Osbo must whip it into the touch and go.
Well, the reason why that championship point is at a 2-point spread is Osbo went out a little bit earlier than intended in Seattle. And right now in qualifying, he looks to be one of the on-form drivers. Huge angle into that first outside zone. Perfectly placed in the touch and go and that first inside clip. Driving right along the line, and again, right up against the wall with a nasty flick back around to that final inside clip. So great job overall here by Frederick Osbo. This has been a specialty for him. getting out there, putting himself in a good position, getting that number 1, 2, or 3 qualifying spot, and really attacking the event strategically. And so great job by Osbo in his first run as the current series leader.
All right, so a 97 right now for our number 1 qualifier, James the Machine Dean. And our first runs are in the book. A 96, a 96. So Osbo, the Norwegian Hammer, drops a 96. As we will take a short break in between run 1s of the entirety of the grid, and then we'll go into run 2 for all of the drivers. Again, the question is, can Sebastian Gauthier get to the line? He is second up here as all our media gets into the pockets and finds their right spot to get the shot. Yeah, how are we doing out there? Seeing the whole gang. But thank you to all our media, all of our hardworking staff. You can see it looks like stripe in the boxes. Here we are at Worldwide Technology Raceway, round 6 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. We deem this Pet Boys. See you at the Crossroads, presented by Rain-X. You can see the arch off in the distance. My name is Jared Deenda, Ryan Sage, and I giving you what's going on here. Again, the new track at Worldwide Technology Raceway. All right, so again, we'll take a short break. When we come back, run 2 for the entirety of the field when we come back.
The Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship is brought to you by Black Magic, NOS, and by the U.S. Air Force.
Hey, this is Robin Yoshida. I am here with Steph Papadakis. PAWLAK is racing. Last event, there was something crazy going on at the on the track or off the track in the pits. What did you guys have to do in between your qualify runs?
Yeah, so we run this high-strung four-cylinder engine making 1,000 horsepower, and when you do that, it's kind of always on the edge. We actually had an oil line come off this time from the dry sump, and it burned the motor down, so we had to swap it. And we had about an hour to do it. We have a spare engine, and we've spent a lot of time kind of preparing so that engine swaps could be faster. So the engine has an intake manifold on it, and wiring, and a clutch, and all that stuff, and we're able to change it in about an hour.
So you make it sound like it's super easy, but I know it's not. What is the shortest amount of time that you guys were able to do a motor swap in this car?
I think about an hour. And we had 4 guys on it, and we've prepared engines so we can do it relatively quick. But you know, we all come from the drag racing world, and in that world, you got 45 minutes between rounds. So, and you're always pushing engines, and you're always sort of blowing stuff up over in the drag racing world. So we said, you know what, we just need to be prepared like that if in an FD event, because if you lose or miss one round here in FD, like you're out of the championship. So having that, being prepared at that level, I think is important to trying to win the championship.
Well, man, good luck. You guys are doing great.
All right, thank you.
Federico SCERIFFO. I'm the driver of the Fiorella, that is the Ferrari 599 GDB from FFF drifting department. Okay, yeah, soccer, handball, baseball, basketball. I love arch. I love it. I speak a broken Chinese, a broken Japanese, French decent, Spanish okay. It's the best thing that a man can do dressed. Nice. I'm so superstitious that I race with number 17, that is actually a bad luck number back home. That I'm number 1 and I have 7 lives like cats. And it has a more deep meaning, but we will go too far. I autographed maybe a baby's, the pinky, the one they keep in their mouth, right? Yeah, the plastic one with the thing, right? Maybe that one, and, well, tits, asses, I mean.
Hey, this is Robin Yoshida here at Dan Burkett's pit with Joe Pasco. He is a crew chief of Dan's team. So tell me what happened at Jersey and kind of walk us through what happened with the car.
So Dan got lost in the smoke a little bit following Chelsea DENOFA, and what happened was he got into the guardrail a little bit, which is kind of notorious in Jersey, and the guardrail kind of grabbed his wheel and shoved it up into the wheel well. So it actually pushed his shock tower in about 3 inches, and his frame rail got pushed up like 3/4 of an inch or something like that.
So you had actually one event in between after New Jersey, working on the other car to get it ready for Seattle, and now we're here in St. Louis. What did you guys have to do to fix the car to make it to here?
So what we did was we pulled the motor out and brought it over to King's, I think it's King's Auto Body, and they pulled the frame, they pulled the shock tower back out. We went into it thinking we were going to have to replace the entire shock tower, all the sheet metal and everything, but we ended up just replacing the upper apron here where the fender is attached to, and got it all.
All right, Joao Berrion on the start line. His second run, but notably our next driver. Oh, I'm seeing him over there, but we'll see if he is able to throw down a run. All right, Joao Berrion in this Barberis Achilles tire Chevrolet Corvette. Throws it in, whips it in that Z06. Let's see how he handles this transition. A little late on that transition. Ryan, I want you to bring up the point that Andy Yen was talking about. Oh, knocks out that front clip. Getting a little sloppy here in a second run. Look at that, shredding some bumper, hitting the cones. So Joao Berrion's first score was a 79, but during the break, Andy Yen told us a point of where some of the drivers are missing some points.
Yeah, it's going to be right about
there.
Here. You want to see the drivers slowing down the vehicle in the touch and go with the back bumper in the touch and go, not prior to the touch and go. And that also applies coming out of this section here as you're heading towards this final touch and go, slowing it down with big angle and then getting back on the throttle. So he was saying that he was deducting quite a few drivers for slowing down before getting into the touch and go, as opposed to using big angle in the touch and go to slow down and having it be more natural, more dynamic. So Joao's got that first run score of a 74, I believe you said?
79.
79. So trying to get into those mid-80s, give himself good positioning in the top 32,
73.
but not able to do it.
No, 73. Oh. Wow. We are hearing that Sébastien Gauthier from Quebec City is on the start line, put in a brand new engine and dropped it in. So Gauthier thrashing to get the car back together. So 32 drivers, and it looks like we will have a full field if Gauthier gets a full pull here in his retina-burning vehicle, the SSG Motorsports S14. Here comes Sébastien Gauthier, approaches that first outer zone, and again, on the transition, carry speed, but then slow down with big angle, now into that front clip, and Gauthier brings it around. A little sketchy here, kind of puckering moments, and swings it into that final touch and go. Looks like Gauthier will be getting a score. So Gauthier, we will have a full field, Ryan, 32 vehicles, no buy runs.
Yeah, that's a great bit of news for all of us and the fans, a full field of 32. Gauthier, a little bit of a scary moment right here. Big angle, almost looked like he was going to hold up, but he's able to muster through that inside clip, push out to the touch and go, or the outside zone, into the touch and go, and then wrapping through that final inside clip, keeps the pressure on, keeps the throttle down. So Gauthier just on the inside line there of that first outside zone, and there was that transition. He was able to get that back bumper in the transition, use angle to slow it down, kept big angle there, pulled a little bit out of it on that outside zone, but it will be a scored run, and congratulations to him and his team for making it happen.
Yeah, round of applause for his hardworking team. 63, a 63, he does get a score, so we will officially, oh, you know what? I don't want to speak too soon because Castro, he has an incomplete run. So right now, 31 cars. I apologize. So Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic just got too heavy into it and spun into that final front clip as Kyle Mohan has a 75 on his first run. So again, there is one driver in contention of not showing up into head-to-head, and that's Jonathan Castro. But right now, everybody trying to better their first scores as Kyle Mohan, American Ethanol, Top One Oil, Mazda Tricks, Mazda RX-8. And right on that front clip, doesn't knock it over, so 2 points will be awarded to him, or not deducted, I should say. Touch and go, straight line approach on that front clip. Definitely needs to bring that out wider. But this track could fare well for Mohan as well when we go to head-to-head. Again, Ryan, he did have a, what was it, a 75 on his first run.
So trying to better that 75, kind of slow, rosy initiation. There was that's exactly what Andy Yen was talking about, who's slowing down with the car pointing the other direction almost in that touch and go. So he really wants to see full angle there, and the angle, the vehicle slowing it down in those touch and goes, and that's a big point of difference for him. So we'll see if Kyle is able to get past that 75. Here it is. You can see he was driving with the vehicle into the touch and go as opposed to being transitioned before it and using that angle to slow it down. So Kyle Mohan finishing up his run here, and we'll see where that slots him into the top 32.
All right, Mohan with a 73 on his second run, so the first run of a 75 will be the better of the two. Again, new father, congratulations, the Mohan fam. As Austin Meeks, look at Meeks, look at Meeks. Ferocious Motorsports, Next in Tires, Cadillac ATS-V. Austin Meeks whips it into that first outside zone, comes up a bit short there, Ryan. And the Next in Tires ablaze here on the front clip, takes it out, and Meeks had a 76 on his first run. I don't think this is going to be better, and it definitely is not going to be better than that. So a 76 on his first run will be the better of the two. That's going to be an incomplete there for Mr. Meeksies.
Well, this would be a good opportunity, Jared, to show you again what Andy was pointing out. Watch as Meeks leaves that first outside zone. See how he is still transitioning into the touch and go? What Andy N would like to see is the drivers transitioning before that, using their angle to slow down. And because he's the angle judge, that's highly important for him. Unfortunately, Meeks is not able to finish the run, but he will stick with that first score. Still in the top 32, full field. And now it's just a matter of where is the order going to drop in. He's got a 76, so right now he's in that 25th position, Jared.
All right, so Meeks, we'll see where he ends up. All right, Kevin Lawrence here coming up next. He has a 70 on his first run, the Njuku Racing BC Racing S14.3 on Achilles tires. Here comes K-Law, that RB powered S chassis from Flowrider. Let's see how Kevin handles this. Gets into that outside zone early, but exits about mid zone. Now looks like he's feeling the flow. Rida, see what I did there? Out to the touch and go real quick, and actually feels all of that. Oh, the old dead sailor there for Kevin Lawrence. Unfortunately, again, a 70 on his first run. He will be in the show, but on a second run, comes up a bit short, literally.
Well, you notice, as you said, Jared, coming out of that first outside zone a little bit early, and also getting into that touch and go a little bit late. Like to see that transition before, so we're seeing a bit of a point of difference here between some of the higher scored runs and how it is all playing out. But unfortunately for Kevin, this will not be his high score of the day. He'll have to hold on to it. Here's a shot from the drone. You can see he's still in the transitioning period into that outside touch and go, and they want to see you transition before that, maximizing that angle, trying to slow down the vehicle into that area, then back on throttle to the inside clip. But there was where the incomplete was registered for Kevin Lawrence.
I want to see you transition early, Ryan. Into a beautiful butterfly. All right, so Kevin Lawrence obviously with that incomplete. And there it is officially, K-Law. Currently in 28th position. Federico Scerriffo. Triple F at Drifting Department, Next in Tires. Okay, yeah, Ryan, I hear you over my shoulder and saying, there you go. And that was a good execution of what the judges are looking for. Oh, explodes that final outside zone cone. And brings it around. So Federico, with an 82 on his first run, he might better it here outside of hitting those cones.
Yeah, his line just got a little bit out of whack on the second half of the course, but notice as he comes off this first outside zone, he does his transition early there. Use that angle to slow down. He's back on throttle through the inside clip. Pushes out wide towards the edge of the course, just gets right out on the dirt, but goes a little bit long. Then he has to make a little bit of kind of a wonkier line, not as smooth. Still made it look good, and I think you're right. He may be very close to that first score, possibly even better, but overall for Fede, he continues to progress in that vehicle and looking good here as he is certainly in deep into the top 32. Just a matter of where he's going to slot into the current lineup.
All right, so Federico Scerriffo, a.k.a. Fetty. I like to call him Fetty Wap, no big deal, as he gets an 84. So he does better slightly. There you go, Ryan. One, son. As next up, Radical Daniel, Rad Dan, and this Nexon Tires Toyota Supra gear wrench. One of the mellowest dudes in the FD grid. I don't think I've ever seen him get mad. I don't want to see him get mad. I feel like he'd get Richter. Here we go. All of that outside zone with that Supra whale tail. Now coming into and center punches that thing, taking it home as a souvenir. And kicks it off and brings it around. And Dan Burkett, that's going to be an incomplete. That is a unchaseable run, unfortunately, there for Dan Burkett. But fortunately, he does have an 84 on his first run.
Yep, you called it, Jared.
I've been watching this a little bit.
Have you?
I think I know what's going on.
That's cool.
Sometimes.
I thought you were guessing.
I'm going to go out on a limb and just, hang myself.
Yeah, so Dan right here just angling up a bit too much there, and you're right, that falls into the unchaseable lead category.
Well, I mean, our plan is working perfectly.
Yeah.
We manipulate the judges, so our plan is working perfectly. Look at this guy. Yeah, I'm gonna take this home now. These guys are on it. I got to tell you, the staff here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, they're killing it. Also, Robin Ishida, he came in here. He was sweating it up. He was out there striping the course.
Getting pinned.
Yeah, getting pinned, getting torqued. Fully torqued.
Totally.
Yep. All right, speaking of torque, again, this privateer here in the comp cams, Achilles Tire Cadillac ATS-V, Taylor full pull hole. All right, let's see what Hull's got. Oh, gets in early, but does not stay out there in that outside zone. There's a great angle here. Let's see how he handles that front clip. Oh, man, that thing is taking a licking, man. An absolute punching bag. Doesn't get to that outside zone. Not a good run here for Hull. Gets in the latter half of that touch and go. Again, that wall ride is a touch and go, and Taylor Hull, I believe I'm reading it correctly, is 65 on his first run.
Well, let's see what happens here. He made better that run. He made a couple noticeable mistakes. He came out of that zone a bit early, and he's going to get that 2-point deduction. I like how he executed the touch and go there. He was able to use his angle to slow down, but he does hit that cone pretty dramatically, leaves that second outside zone. So I think line points are going to be quite a bit down here. And big angle in the car, almost came in and hit that final inside clip by the finish line. You can see he leaves that first outside zone a little bit early. Better there on that touch and go. Not the greatest fluidity, but as he wrapped around that inside clip, just came in a little bit too tight. And here's we got into another little bit of trouble, but still able to pull it off. He'll get a scored run here, and it's right around the same ballpark.
Unfortunately, a 63 there on a second run, as he is currently 30th. He's spreading it out there, full bore. Showing you what he's got from top to bottom. Next up, Dirk Stratton. Dirk Stratton in the Lingenfelter Stratton Chevrolet Corvette. 33 on the door. Here we go. Dirk Stratton had a, what do you have? 83 on his first run. Wants to better it, feeling confident. Hammers down on that throttle. Man, kicking off a ton of Achilles tire smoke. Billowing out the back. See a little bit of corrections there from the front wheels. Brings it across. He did hit that front cone, Ryan, crossing that finish line.
Let's take a look at this again here. Nice snap initiation from Dirk. A little bit tight on the line though. Like to see him get a little bit wider there. Good transition in the touch and go. He's able to avoid that inside clip, but still draw a pretty good line here to the second outside zone. Driving right towards the wall. Transitions just about a foot off and just nicks that inside clip through the finish line. Here he is leaving that outside zone just a touch early. Still able to get a good transition into that touch and go area, keeping that back bumper towards the rumble strip and drawing that pretty smooth line into that final section of the course there. So good run from Dirk. We'll see right now how that positions, and just a point off from run number 1.
82 there for Dirk Stratton, but great to see Stratton hold it together, gets a qualifying run, having the confidence. Hopefully they figured out that belt and not throwing them. I mean, they went through like 6 belts in Seattle in the previous round as well. So Jeff Jones, here we go. 67 on his first run. He lets it throw down. Here we go, Jones. That Doc, Nexon Tire, Energy Innovations. supercharged V8. Oh, takes up that cone, man. Like I said, that cone is taking quite the abuse here on the second run for all the drivers. And I think this might better 67. But again, needs to go a little deeper, just that X factor, a little more refinement here from Jones.
Well, I think relative to the 67, it's definitely a much better run. Notice he stays in that first outside zone pretty much completely, transitions before the touch and go, uses that angle. Has a couple little movements in the vehicle, including that inside clip that'll probably take off a few points. He's able to fill that second outside zone pretty well. Got into the outside touch and go. Not as deep as you'd like to see him, but still, I think this will be a pretty big improvement overall from that 67. Put him into a better position into the bracket as he waits for his scores to be logged by the judges here.
Boom, 76. Let's flip those numbers around. Attaboy, J2, Jeff Jones jumps up to 25th position with a 76. Attaboy, Jeff Jones. So this is our final driver who is not in head-to-head competition because it's incomplete on his first run. Let's see Castro throw it down. Larry Chen there. I swear there's multiple Larry Chens around this building because he is omnipresent everywhere. You can see him. A great piece on Larry Chen. One of the icon videos there on Formula Drift done by FD Studios. Larry, a great friend of mine, as all the drivers are and media and staff. But here we go. Jonathan Castro. Can he do it? Jardot, Metzeldam. It was that final turn into that final front clip. Just hammered down too much, talking to his spotter, Aldo. And says it just needs to lift a little bit, not go too hard, but right now looks like he's putting that Toyota Racing Toyota 86 in the right places, flicks it in. Oh, buddy! As gaining some giggles here from Ryan Sage saying, yeah, I guess, how do you say giggles, but laughing there, a little nervous.
Yeah, those laughing nerves for sure. He just had a lot of angle in that final corner, and that's where that last incomplete happened. Looks like he's putting together a pretty solid run here. He got into that touch and go a little bit late. He was driving with the front of the vehicle through it as opposed to the angle of the vehicle. And then right here, watch that big transition. Pretty much at full lock there and has to make a little bit of an adjustment, but certainly he will get a score. He'll be up in the mix, and he'll be ready for competition tomorrow. Can take as many practice laps as he needs now prior to the top 32 to dial in the vehicle and his confidence as far as he would like to go. But he is good for today, got that score, and let's see where it goes.
82. So a great score, jumps from 0 to not full-on hero, but an 82. Just a kind of a little humble pie there, Castro. Also, as next up, again, Kazuya Taguchi, who did he get #1 qualifier? No, he did not, but he was really close. I'm trying to remember what round that he just absolutely threw down in qualifying. We'll have to go back. All right, here we go. This up garage Achilles tire S15 with that VR power plant poking out. Throws it in aggressively to Gucci with an 84 on his first run. Whips it into the front clip. Oh, buddy. Oh, man. So you can see him getting checked up there. So maybe scrubs too much speed into that front clip, not allowing him. So little hiccup. So unfortunately, needs to drink a water glass upside down. Is that how you cure hiccups? How do you cure hiccups, Brian?
Hold your breath.
Hold your breath. All right. We'll hold our breath right now.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that mistake that you called out, Jared, I thought this was a pretty good run overall. He looked really strong, committed in that first outside zone. Right there, he gets a little bit of a hiccup. He's not able to fill that second outside zone, so lose some points there on both style and line. But you can certainly tell, as we mentioned in run #1, he has a lot of comfort in that vehicle. Here he is coming through the inside clip. Just going to get held up a little bit. See the front wheels. He has to make an adjustment in the angle. He's not able to get all the way out there, but then back around to that final touch and go. He's right up against the wall. So I think these are good signs here for Taguchi and how he's going to hold up in the top 32.
Holy hot banana pepper. It is definitely hot out here. You know, sometimes they creep up on you and surprise you. So an 82 there for Kazuya Taguchi. Also, Thomas Allen Buford, you left your wallet at will call. So Thomas Buford, go pick up your wallet at will call. Next up, all right, this Power Stop Brakes Coro Works Nissan 350Z. Like I said, looking a little bit loose there on the setup. We'll see if our Brian Litteral can throw it down. NRG Innovations wheel in his hands. Looks dialed with this ATL built. Final clip. 78 on his first run. Ryan, what do you think? You think it's better than a 78?
Yeah, I think he looked a little bit more locked in this time. He stayed longer and deeper into that first outside zone. He transitioned before the touch and go. You can see the car hopping around a little bit, but I think he's maintaining really good relative fluidity here and consistency. He eyed up this final touch and go with a lot of aggression there, made that commitment to the wall. So I think this is going to be an improvement on his first run, and he definitely looks a little bit more dialed in here on run number 2.
I would say that took a mild fruit adventure there, similar to the snacks that you're eating. No, don't want to endorse any brands, but the particular candy that you're eating, Ryan, does have 0 calories, but it's called Fruit Adventure. An 85, so he jumps up considerably from a 78 to an 85. A good execution for Literal. And again, his headshot there, he's changed quite a bit from the beginning of the season to now. Tightened up his beard, you know, just aesthetically. It's a little different looking. What do you think? Yay or nay?
That's fine.
Yeah. The old fine. There we go. It's fine. You know, like if your Betty asks you, like, how do I look? You look fine. Or you say, you look fine. Here we go. You will find Matt Kaufman. Won't you back that S13 up into that touch and go into the front clip now? Goes Kaufman, World War Kaufman. Into that second outer zone. Could have gotten a little deeper, but looking a lot more refined than his first run, a lot more comfortable. Brings it around that front clip very close, does not hit it. So Kaufman had a 74 in his first run. Would you agree? Looks more comfortable, looks more dialed.
Much more smooth from my mind. And you see how he transitions early into that touch and go. You're not seeing a lot of movement in the vehicle. He's locking into angle. He's staying committed on throttle. Really points it right towards the wall here. Maybe a little bit earlier on that transition to that outside touch and go, but outside of that, I think it is an improvement on the 74 and giving himself a good opportunity here in run number 2 to move up into the bracket. So 9.59 looking pretty good here in run number 2. Matt Kaufman finishing up his qualifying day, and there you go.
Yo, an 85 there for Matt Kaufman. The judges agree. Did you hear my my music lyric that I dropped right there? You will find Matt Kaufman. Won't you back that S13 up? Like a drummer chick? No?
I did hear, but, you know, then calling it out saying, did you see how cool what I did was? Actually brings the level down.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. that's me trying to get cred. That's the dad jokes.
That's what I would have told you offline. That's
I know, exactly. Dylan Hughes, we'll see if he can drop some lyrics right now here. Dylan Hughes in that Rain-X Pep Boys Achilles Tire BMW. Feeling the flow, him and his team, man, just kicking off a lot of smoke here as Dylan into that touch and go. Quick little yank of the e-brake. Look at the yank of the brake.
Well, he got into the 90s on run 1. I think it was a 90 exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dylan is continuing to look very solid here. The Rain-X vehicle, snappy initiation, gets on throttle, stays deep into that zone. A little bit of a late transition into that first outside touch and go, but watch, he's going to improve on the second one here. He's going to leave the second outside zone, eyes up the wall, transitions early, back bumper right up against the wall, maybe about 6 inches off, stays on throttle. And 2 good runs for Dylan Hughes. Great job by him here in the Permatex qualifying. So I think he's going to be really hyped up for tomorrow.
I told the team over there, you know, previous years when you see Rain-X on a vehicle, we usually see a lot of rain. I talked to the team, and ITW is the parent company that, you know, runs all these brands, and basically they said, well, Rain-X is going to be on the vehicle for 3 events. So I said, oh no. Well, regardless, back-to-back, a 90 to an 89. He does not better his first run, but right now he's smiling. That big old cheesy D-Hugh grin right there. The Dozer currently sitting in 8th. Again, his great friend, Travis Reeder. Dang near killed her. Here we go. Travis Reeder, the greeter. Oh, man, shredding that back bumper on this V8-powered S13, Napoleon Motorsports, Nitto tires. And Travis Reeder had a 85 on his first run, finishing it out here into the touch and go. Wow, again, that's how he throws him off. He takes out that front clip there, Ryan. Is that better than an 85? What do you think?
Well, he was already mid-pack with that 85. I think he made a couple of big mistakes right here on the initiation. Then he had to pull some angle out of the car. Then he put some angle back in. So the fluidity aspect. Notice that he went up a little bit on the rumble strips there. So on the transition, he was just a little bit offline. and he had to make an adjustment. And then here, Jared, massive transition, big angle here. He sees he's going off course. He's pointed there, pulls angle out of the car. I think that would fall under in a unchaseable lead in tandem. So there you go.
Bow, 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 bow. Unfortunately there for Travis Reeder, he gets an incomplete, but fortunately he has an 85. So currently sitting top 16. Saw Dean Kearney up here in between our, that little halftime break of qualifying. I said, dude, come on, let's see what you got. He says he's got that, what do you say, the second half down, just the first half. So I don't know, we'll see. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I said, shut up and put it down. Let's go. But Oracle Lighting, the Achilles tire, Dodge Viper, ready to rip off the line. Here we go, Dean Kearney. Had a good time with him at Goodwood Festival of Speed in England. Seems, was that like about a month ago? Time flies when you're having fun. James Dean still leading the pack. Can anybody take him down? The Machine, 97. Fellow Irishman going down right now. Low Street in not a Range Rover, but oh yeah! So look at that pep talk from Dad. Oracle Lighting, Achilles tire, Dodge Viper. This is a very forgiving track outside of that final touch and go. Look at that minimal corrections from those front wheels. Yo, and Dean loves popping off that wing. Man, look at that, Ryan. Seriously, I only talked to one driver during halftime. I ran to the bathroom, let's be quite honest. You did as well. And saw him and said, let's go. And look at that.
And he definitely listened to you. I mean, this is a nasty flick here.
Yeah.
Big, committed, and he makes it work. He's just maybe left that outside zone a tiny bit early, into that touch and go a tiny bit late, but still very dynamic driving. And now watch the approach as he just really fills that second outside zone, perfectly executed into that final outside touch and go, and through the finish line he goes with big throttle. So I think he's really on point here. What was the first score? Was an 85?
First score was a 90, actually.
A 90?
No, excuse me. A 90, yeah, he had a 90.
So it's going to be right there again. Yep. I mean, very few mistakes, but what really stood out to me was how dynamic his initiation was and the commitment there, which is really what you want to set up the rest of the course. But
86, all right.
A couple of those mistakes I think will drop down, and a lot of it I believe is what Andy N was talking about there. Take a look at the deductions here in angle and in line. So you can see it.
Here we go, Pat Gooden. Pat Gooden at an 83 on his first run and going for the gusto, overcooks it. And that will be loop it for the Gooden. All right, passionate Pat coming to a halt. Shredding that back bumper. Freshened up here in the in-between rounds. And look at that door. Wow.
Some tough cones.
Yeah, dude, that's some gangster cone here.
And there's the cone that did it, just at speed right there.
Wow.
And just really, you got to appreciate the aggressiveness, kind of going for it. But once he got off course, got into that cone, a bit too much angle there, couldn't hold on to it. But that door will pop right out.
Not so good in that scenario. Staying out of the heat. Round 6 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. There it is, an incomplete there for Pat Gooden. Keeley's tire, 240SX. Win a free set of JE Pistons. We've already given some out after New Jersey. Now you can win a set after Irwindale, California. Really easy. Vote for your favorite engine from each round of FD. Visit jepistons.com/Formula Drift. Cast your vote. Submit your name and email to enter. Win a set of JE Pistons at jepistons.com/Formula Drift. Kenshiro Gushi, 2JZ powered BURKETT Performance, Toyota Racing Toyota 86, part of the Boost Brigade. I mean, remember Ken when he's just a wee lad? We've just seen him grow up before our eyes. 16 years, you know. He was under 21 when he first started, and now here he is, just a growing boy, grown man here. And he has definitely got some man line going down. You can see those front wheels stopping briefly, but now just re-kicks it back up there, that Toyota Racing Toyota 86. Achilles tire. See those front wheels correcting to navigate around that final front clip, which is the finish line as well. Ken Gushi on his first run had an 86, coincidentally.
So let's see if that betters the 86. Nice, fluid, and snappy initiation. Came off that zone a tiny bit early and into that touch and go a tiny bit late. So we're seeing a lot of that from drivers. Sometimes they can get away with it, but some of the judges have been really docking points there. A nice line overall for Ken. So 2 good runs for Ken back to back, and looking solid and consistent here. Here it is from the drone coming through this crossover section into the inside clip. Watch the line, he kind of draws it very smoothly, very little movement in the front wheels, really technical part of the course there to get that right, and then line up for that final outside touch and go. And you can see he was also very close to that inside clip. So great job there by Ken Gushi, and a relatively close score to run number 1.
Yeah, an 82 there for, man, it is definitely hot out here, hotter than a pair of Kiwis in a potato sack, and that's, it gets pretty hot out here. And let's see if this gentleman can throw down Matt Field. Has definitely seen him be fast in previous events. Faster than 2 shakes of a jackrabbit's tail, but we'll see as the beast from the Bay. At Falcon Tires, Borla exhaust, Corvette. Transitions out to the touch and go. And brings it around that front clip. Can Matt Field better his first score like that? Minimal correction there from the rotiforms.
Well, it was Frederick Osbo, Chelsea DENOFA, and in second place was Matt Field last year. So he has got some work to do and looking strong on his second run here after some mistakes. Nice transition into that outside touch and go. Really big angle there. Consistent throttle, beautiful line, keeping the angle high, points it, gets that early transition, stays on it, drives right through that inside clip, keeping it tight, and narrowly making it look like he was going to go off course there. But with the amount of angle that he had, he was very well positioned to get through it if he could stay committed. Just love the way he pointed it towards the wall there, got that early transition, and then right here, look how tight he is on that inside clip. So beautiful execution by Matt Field. I think he'll have an improvement on run number 2.
And he does, from an 81 to an 86, an 81 to an 86. All business, Matt Field. Next up, Chelsea DENOFA. He had a 93 on his first run, and you know, taking a look at his first run, he really got on the handbrake, so not many deductions there, Ryan, on the handbrake pull.
Yeah, well, I think this is going to be fun for us, right? A 93 means he's good. So
just knowing Chelsea.
Yeah.
Well, no walls, risk it for the biscuit. There goes Chelsea DENOFA, lifting that front tire into that touch and go, and slows the car down in that transition. And now comes and works it all the way out, massages it, almost drops tire, but no brown cloud. And there we go, past that final front clip there.
So much of a smoke line being generated by Chelsea DENOFA on the run-up. He's actually driving through it on the way back. Right here, watch this smoke line. It's going to start moving its way across the course as he transitions to that touch and go. Massive angle here, keeping the throttle on, driving precisely out to this outside zone, just dipping on that backside of,
right there,
of that outside zone, but no dirt coming up. So very precise driving for DENOFA, filling that zone completely. Transitioning right there. He could maybe a hair earlier, and you know, the angle judge might have liked that a little bit better, but I think it was still very well executed, and some high marks here for DENOFA. This is going to be right up there with the 93, and maybe
well, 97 right now. 97 right there as my voice cracks. Just going, and 94. There you go. Look at Ryan making claims. Looking into the crystal ball as our plan is working perfectly. Yes.
So fluidity and commitment, and a little bit on looked like a little bit on angle there, and outside of that, he was good to go.
Let it run through your body.
Yeah.
Yes, Ryan. All right, Michael Essa here, the gentleman. Essa Autosports BMW. He had a 79. Looking at my notes here. 79. Can he throw it down? Very smooth. Essa is. The Achilles tire. Thank you, Ryan. Smooth as it is. Thank you, Yoda. I appreciate that. Oh, no, as he goes on the wrong side. The dark side. He went to the dark side as we have Star Wars quotes being thrown around here.
Well, unfortunately for Essa, that last section of the course, he's going to pay a price for it, it looks like. He's got that score. He's in competition. It's really just about the positioning here. And as you mentioned, looking very smooth and silky up to that point. See that little correction on the front there? Now the transition comes. He's on a tight line here. Big angle. Drives off course. Hits that inside clip. So that's a tough break for Michael Essa.
Ryan, I love that. Smooth Michael Essa is. And then he went to the dark side. Let it run through your body. That was Bane, though. That wasn't, you know. Then we do the I am Batman. People always ask about that. Do people say that to you? Again, that was Canada. Canada got a little loopy. We go across the border up north, and things got weird.
Yeah, it was the organic Oreos.
The organic cookie. 76. And so, as a 76 there for Michael Essa. A 79 will be the better of the two, yeah. And people, you know, with the legalization of marijuana in different places, when we say organic cookies, there was nothing that made them wacky cookies. Here we go, back to the action. Let's get nuts with Forrest Wang. The Achilles tire, S15, the V8, has got the 2J, knocks over that cone, and now into that second outer zone. And wow, getting all the way in, putting that Super Doof on the wall, the Super Doof body kit. And yeah, good job there, that 2F Performance Super Doof. What do you think, the green to the purple? I like the purple.
Yeah, I've liked both of his liveries. And you see, as James Dean still holding on to that 97, Forrest Wang, not a driver that is unused to getting those #1 qualifying positions. He's done it many times before, trying to make an impression here in front of the judges. This final section of the course right up against the wall. Big flick there on that transition and holds it extremely well. Let's watch this. Coming through this inside clip, just pushes it out away, but perfectly right on that white line, and then bam, right up here against the wall, back on throttle pretty early there. Drives very tight to that final inside clip. So Forrest Wang looking silky smooth here. Just a couple minor little mistakes, but
yep,
he's going to stay right at that position number 10.
Ain't no thing but a chicken wing or a Forrest Wang. As JTP on the start line, an 86 on his first score. The Falcon Tires Roush Performance Ford Mustang. James Dean still the one up top as JTP, originally from Michigan, now in Southern California. See if he can take that hot line. And gets all the way out there, really maxing out that angle. You can see him pulling the e-brake into the touch and go. Ooh, does not set him up for success right there. Ryan, that was definitely a correction, and he is hammers down. Unchaseable, question mark? Again, when he approached that front clip, watch how straight he gets.
Yeah, the idea of framing it in your mind is, imagine if there's a chase driver behind him, right? He's got big angle right here, chase driver's on the door, on proximity, and he does that, and then if he was at proximity, probably would have made contact. I think that's what the judges are looking at when they're thinking about an unchaseable lead. Does it make it hard for the chase driver to follow in that position? Obviously, it's not going to better his first run, so it's going to be a throwaway. It won't really matter other than for tie breaking. But unfortunately, that mistake there is going to cost him the opportunity to move up the bracket from run number 1.
So an 86 on his first run. How we doing out there? Yep, and there it is. An incomplete run for JTP on his second run. First run, the better of the two. We are now into the top 10 ranked drivers coming to this round of competition, as we are already 2 drivers in. Now remember, Dai Yoshihara got a little wild there on initiation here in this turn 14 distribution Falcon Tires Subaru BRZ. Let's see if he tames the flame here. Dai Yoshihara, FD veteran, former champ. Smooth like butter, baby. Here we go, out to the touch and go. Now bring it on into that front clip. A lot more refined than his first run. Out to that second outer zone transition. Now into the touch and go. Fills all that, man. He is just the die in a box. Oh, as he does hit that front clip.
Well, that was definitely
the die in a box.
Much better execution on the second run, especially on that outside zone that you called out, Jared. Let's take a look at it here. Dai gets that early initiation, third standing cone, back on throttle early, fills that zone completely. Big angle here, transitions into the touch and go, gets into it a little bit late, but still is able to keep angle coming out of it. And then this line is right up there, white line all the way to the end of the course, right up against the wall. And then a good transition back around, staying on throttle, but just nicking that inside clip through the finish line. Overall, a better performance for him. The judges will certainly reward that, and he does jump up quite a bit.
Atta boy, an 88 there for Dai Yoshihara. He's the die in the box. He's got 11, position number 11. Ryan, the bar's open, FYI, for the fans in the building. Catch yourself some libations as the chrome nose of the professional fun haver, Vaughn Gittin Jr. and the Monster Energy Nitto Tire Mustang RTR, ready to rock. As Vaughn Gittin Jr. about to throw down. Vaughn's been a busy man this year. Busy, busy. I mean, as are all the drifters, man. It seems like this year just flat out.
You've been kind of pinned too.
I've been very pinned. That's an understatement. All right, talk about pin it to win it. Here we go, Vaughn Gittin Jr. Can he step up? Throws it in, gets nasty. Look at the car getting disrupted, but those RTR bright monster green wheels, focused in, zeroed in. Nose reflecting that black magic cone now. Disrupted, kind of out of line there, Ryan. But aggressive. That veteran, FD veteran, former champ, Drift Alliance member.
Yeah, car was having a little bit of a hop coming down the front straight. You see that? And as Vaughn gets settled here into that outside zone, whips it into that touch and go. Right here, he's going to leave this inside clip, get into the outside zone a little bit early, and it's going to cause him to pull off a little bit early as well. There's the transition to the outside touch and go, pretty well executed there. He used his angle to slow down. Oh, this car's kind of riding almost like a little bit like cut springs.
Right. Old school days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like that, but I mean, obviously the performance is there. This is the only real mistake that I saw that he made that was noticeable, was just coming into that zone a little bit early, leaving it a little bit early, but overall, a good performance there. He's already an 85 on run number 1, or 86 on number 1. It gets 85 on run number 2, so 2 pretty consistent runs for Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Yeah, so again, running the BC Racing coilovers, and we saw that with Litteral and of course Chelsea DENOFA, you know, running very similar cars, but not identical settings. You know, I mean, even just everybody's got different setups, of course, and what they're comfortable with. And those RTR Mustangs, you know, if you can remember, was it last year, 2 years ago, really loose. But right now, it's all about Ryan TUERCK, who got the win in New Jersey and just absolutely burns the meatloaf here. And unfortunately, Ryan TUERCK going off course, and that will be an incomplete for him, as that is largely unchaseable for this come-out Toyota Race Toyota 86. And a 94 on his first run. This is obviously going to be a throwaway as he throws away his back bumper off into the weeds. And there it is, just real quick, incomplete Ryan. I mean, you're not an incomplete Ryan. You are a total Ryan Sage, but that was an incomplete run.
Yeah, obviously this is one of those situations where he was really pushing for that number 1 qualification, wanted to get that a big initiation, pushed a little bit too hard on that outside zone. First time we've seen a driver go 4 wheels off, so it will be an incomplete. But, you know, Ryan TUERCK is in a really interesting position right now. He is a contender for the championship. Getting that win in New Jersey and really looking solid this season after basically missing around, Jared. So where he's at in the championship chase right now is just really good news for him, and he's got a good qualification, so he can now go prepare for tomorrow's top 32 action.
All right.
And I don't know if you mentioned it, but let's not forget to join all of our top 32 drivers at the autograph session.
Yep. We got an autograph session if you're here in the building, and just if you're planning on attending future events, we always do it on qualifying day after 32 qualifying. Remember, the final round of Pro 2 is in Texas. Round 3 for Pro 2, the Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship is here tonight. And then, of course, game day tomorrow for round 6 of the Formula Drift Blackmagic Pro Championship. Right now, again, Chris Forsberg, notably, last night he was over at Walmart, and today and tonight he's throwing out the first pitch. Unfortunately, Ryan, you and I can't go, but the Cardinals versus the Pirates, and Chris Forsberg, number 64, the only 3-time Formula Drift champion, will be hopefully throwing a fastball down the center. Here we go. Ha! Yeah, that's right. We got to fire that up. As Chris Forsberg, again, the only 3-time FD champion now, brings it into that front clip, really dialed in. You can see minimal, if at all, any corrections from those front wheels. Whips it in, risking it for the biscuit. Oh, that was adorable there. Just like, oh, it's over there, and just walking it. That was a phenomenal crab walk, but it won't fare well in the scorebooks.
Well, he started off really strong, didn't he? I mean, great angle there after the initiation. Fluidity, the commitment is there, the precision of the driving is there. Watch this line to outside zone 2. I mean, that is near perfect there. Huge transition there with a lot of angle. Had he had a little bit more float, he probably could have made it through. But you got to really appreciate what he's doing there. We're seeing the point of difference is when guys are transitioning into those touch and goes, those big whips that go right to angle and they hold it are really scoring well. So Chris knows exactly what he's doing there. Just pushed a little bit too hard, but he's still got that 94 on run number 1.
First he whips, and then nay, he did not. And a problem came along. He tried to whip it, but didn't whip it into shape. You know what I mean? He did not shape it up, get straight. You know, he was trying to roll forward and move ahead. You know what I mean? Yeah. Here we go. This is James Dean. He is currently our number 1 qualifier. Can he hold on to it and expect a big run from James Dean? Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires, Sylvia S15, 2-time and defending back-to-back champion. He throws it in. It wasn't as kind of volatile or coming up short as Forsberg, but you did see some corrections there on the whip.
Well, I mean, much more minimal, right? And the commitment was there. But watch this line. Great initiation all the way, fills the zone all the way, transitions earlier, then the touch and go, use the angle to slow the car down. Perfect on that inside clip. That line right there is as clean of an arc as you're going to get, and a big transition there. He's back on throttle. He catches it. I mean, if it's a mistake, it's minor. It's not a mistake that, you know, he had to really make an adjustment to, but he really threw a hard flick there against the wall, caught it, and then got back on throttle. Watch how hard this is. Full angle right here. Car floats out. He's back on throttle. I mean, that is really something right there for James Dean.
Yeah, a little snappy snap right there. Yeah, you can see just quick yank of the brake and then back on throttle. As James back in the pits, a 92 still holds on to that number 1 spot. The 97, the machine, back-to-back defending champion.
You see that 29 and 28 on line and angle. So the style is where he got hit, and that's fluidity and commitment. So probably that last section there.
Car looks similar, but far from, as left-hand drive here for Piotr Visik. The Candyman is delivering here into that touch and go, and Visik already has a 91. And now approaching, goes for a more subtle approach on the touch and go, and it does pay off. Ryan, better than 91?
Pretty close. I mean, line-wise, really no mistakes there. Angle was pretty good. I think style is where maybe there may be some drop there. I mean, that's a great initiation, big angle, good transition there to the touch and go. Super tight on that inside clip, didn't hit it. This transition is not the craziest, but it's really good, and it's right up against the wall. So the fluidity is really there. So super dynamic. I think he could improve, and he does by 3 points.
Yo, Visik with a 94. Look at that smile, says it all. For the Candyman, dropping some sweetness here in St. Louis. Both the Wordhouse guys, again, 1 and 2 in Seattle. Unstoppable force, that Candy machine.
Yeah, I mean, their season has made everybody else's season interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, James had a little bit of trouble early on. Peter was, you know, lacking the results. Now they've
figuring it out.
They've come here to play, and they are doing very well.
Speaking of somebody to come to play and out for blood, Odi Bakshis, very soft-spoken gentleman. That Falcon Tires Field Suspension Supercharged, the Vortex Supercharged V8, knocks over that cone, so obviously not going to get a perfect run here, but fills all of that second outer zone. Ooh, and taps it into the wall. Sheds it back bumper, molting. Looks like, again, molten like a lizard.
Yeah,
popping some skin.
I cannot wait for tomorrow. I just am anticipating some crazy battles just from what we're seeing here in qualifying, how these drivers are doing.
Tonight.
Yeah, and tonight as we get into the Pro 2, we'll get a small taste of that. Here's Odi on his run number 2, just sitting outside the top 5 right now. The one mistake that looks like it may cost him a little bit is on the transition. He just taps it a little bit, so a little slight interruption in the angle during the transition. But again, look at that outside zone, perfectly filled. Transitions into a touch and go, use the angle to slow down, hits that inside clip. Here's the line, pretty smooth all the way through that outside zone and super close to the wall, bit too close, taps it, and still finishes the run strong. So great job by Odi Bakshis.
All right, as one more driver left, so an 89 on his second run. And there we go, our current points leader, the Rockstar Energy Drink. Next in tires, Toyota Corolla hatchback. Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo, at a 96 on his first run. Wow, throws it in really hard, hot and heavy. Oh, gets into the rumble strip, looking like in Seattle when he went over James Dean's vehicle, if you can recall that. But the car getting disrupted. Again, turning that hatchback into a rally car.
That was Osbo, I think, wanting to dismount Dean from that #1 qualification, and the way to do it was to do stuff like this. Huge flick, right? The rate to angle is incredible, filled the zone, but he got out of it a little bit early, and he was up on the rumble strip, so this is going to be Osbo's throwaway. He's not going to be the #1 qualifier. It's going to be him and Dean 1 and 2 unofficially. And that is it. That is it for the top 32 qualifying. We got a doozy for tomorrow, Jared. Here is one more look from above. You can see Osbo just a bit too tight on that touch and go, gets up on the rumble strip, and he'll get a score here most likely, but it is not going to be the #1 qualification.
No, definitely not. And he already has a 96 in his back pocket, so as you said, just going for it. Try to dethrone. So again, the bar's open. Let's party. Pro 2 tonight, top 16, 5:15 local time. Looking at my watch, it's just over 3 hours from now. So we have our autograph session here in the building, and we're adding a new thing there. If you're in the building, we're actually doing our qualifying announcement down there during the during the autograph session. That's going down at 2:45. 2:45 is the autograph session to 3:45, and yeah. So again, we'll be back out here. And yeah, so the official practice of Pro 2 is at 3:45 to 5:15. And again, top 16 opening ceremonies, local time opening ceremony at 5:30. So thank you so much. There you go, Osbo with an 87. Thank you, Ryan. An 87 on his second run, but still holds on to that #2 position. So look at that. James Dean out front with that Black Magic #1 top qualifier award winner. Osbo sitting there in second, contenders for the championship. We're in the shadow of the St. Louis Arch. So we have a full field, 32 drivers head-to-head for tomorrow's main event here, round 6 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Pet Boys, the Crossroads, presented by Rain X. Going down tomorrow is game day, #FDSTL. On behalf of Ryan Sage, I'm Jared Deanna, and thank you. Rejoin us again here tonight for Pro 2, round 3 of the Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship.